Hey, Birkett here, along with Carlos Monarrez after day one of joint practices between the Lions and Patriots. And Carlos, was a long session, a lot of what we expected, I guess. Ones against ones, twos against twos. What stood out to you from the first practice between these two teams?
Oh, Tom Brady, 1 and 2 right there, you know. 42-year-old, number 12, adds up to 3, so Brian Hoyer. So, I mean, it was an interesting mix of, the Patriots and the Lions doing different things. They did from the 25, they started it with a minute 45, kind of a scramble.
2-minute drill
drill. Kicking on the skinny field goal post. I think both Santoso and Prater missed, but skinny field goal posts. It looked okay. I mean, I think they got some work in. It's good to see everybody. All the players talked about how it's good to practice against somebody else. They're kind of tired of seeing each other. This is, I think, day 10 of training camp.
Yeah.
So, some good. Nobody looked amazing. I don't know, but I think Chase Winovich actually had a sack on one play, so it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's obviously tough to tell here. There's no tackling still. It is good, good one-on-one work. We didn't see some of that. There's still no Damon Harrison. Darius Slay didn't do a lot today. He did a little bit. So the Lions kept out some of their top guys. You mentioned Tom Brady. Some of his teammates, they sort of serenaded him a little happy birthday song on top of the hill that's behind us over there, the conditioning hill that the Lions use after the Patriots got done using it today. But it is amazing that 42 years old, this guy is still playing at such a high level. I asked him a little bit about that afterwards, and he just said, I wrote a book on it. He was trying to sell his book. He said, I wrote a book on it. But Tavon Wilson's a guy who said he's read the book. I mean, I think people look at Brady across the league and they sort of marvel that even though you're playing quarterback, even though it's not like running back or safety or some of these other positions where you take that much pounding, still to be 42 years old, to be playing at the level that he is, winning all the Super Bowls that he has. I just don't know when we'll ever see that in the NFL again. Certainly, maybe we'll see other 40-year-old quarterbacks, Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, some of these guys, but to be winning like he has, to still be playing at the high level like he has, that's something special.
And it's a testament to one of the great pairings in all of sports ever, Belichick and Brady. And Brady's modified his game. I mean, he's never been a big runner, but he doesn't hold on to the ball very long. He's very careful with his body, obviously the TB12 method, all this other stuff. So, it's a testament to somebody who's smart about how they approach the game, being super studious, making the most of their opportunity, obviously come from Michigan. So I don't think we'll ever see that again.
Yep.
And I wonder if other quarterbacks, maybe like Stafford, will emulate that. Stafford's talked about wanting to play into his 40s, being smarter, more judicious about when you run.
Well, Stafford and Brady, they spent about a full period there. One of the special teams periods early in practice where they were just sort of talking off on the side. The quarterbacks were grouped together, and I didn't get a chance to talk to Matthew after practice today, but I do wonder sort of what that conversation was like. It's I think we have a picture of them from last year when they played, saying hi, but that just seemed like, they spent a good 5-7 minutes talking during that period, and that'd be one that you'd love to be a fly on the wall for. And I know people out there are probably saying, look, he didn't have his greatest year last year. He, even look at the contract, he didn't hit his escalators. But look, he played great when they needed him to down the stretch. And then you watch him today. You mentioned that 2-minute drill. I mean, the Lions, there were fits and starts, and it took them a while to get downfield. Brady went snap, snap, snap. I mean, it was like 3 or 4 passes, and they're down there, at the 5 or 6 yard line. And give the Lions credit, they held. There was no touchdown. Brady threw the ball away a couple times, and then he just missed his receiver on 3rd down. But the contrast between the way that he moved, a Patriots offense that isn't at full strength either, in that 2-minute drill versus what the Lions did, both their first and second teams, you just sort of look at that and you go, wow, that's the greatness of Tom Brady right there.
And I wonder, I listened to the Kyle Van Noy, he also talked today, he's here. I listened to the podcast he did with, it was Part of My Take in February. It's a really long one, it was about an hour. And he talked a lot about, the film that they do, specifically the defense, but the film work, the high expectation, the hatred to actually perform poorly because you're going to get it, the next day from Belichick. I think there's a different standard maybe with the Patriots across the board. It starts with Belichick and Brady on down. I mean, I think it's just a little bit unique that way. And that's the whole thing of, Brady's not, for a lot of these guys preseason, maybe it's the, shake the rust off, whatever. I think Brady wants to come in, hit the ground running. Yeah. He's ready to go. If you're not going to catch the ball, I'm not throwing it to you. There's just a different level. I mean, even Patricia said this kind of like, he's the ultimate competitor, kind of smiled about it. Like, there's probably nobody more competitive in sports or, than Brady. Yeah. So there's just a different
Jordan
standard.
Level of, competitiveness.
And it extends to everybody else. I think it comes down, it filters on down to everybody, to even the slot guy trying to make the roster as an undrafted free agent.
And you mentioned it, that pairing. I think Belichick has that too, and that's sort of why they've been great for 2 decades now. And look, frankly, that's what the Lions are trying to build here. I mean, you have to have the great coach and the great quarterback.
They're doing it their own way, by the way.
Around.
Patricia said their own way. So this is not Foxborough.
Yeah, well, they have a hill similar to that. They do the exact same thing at practice.
Sorry to interrupt.
It's Patriots Midwest, so it's just different colors. But look, I mean, you understand why they emulate that. I mean, the Patriots have been the most successful franchise in professional sports for 2 decades, so it makes sense to. It's just, when you don't have Belichick and you don't have Brady, can you emulate that the same way? We'll find out. That's what the Lions are certainly trying to do here. Anything else from Van Noy? Van Noy, former Lion, of course. I think everyone out there knows him. Anything else from Kyle Van Noy stand out today?
Well, I think he likes to pop off in the off season, or when he's away from here, but he wasn't going to take the bait. Belichick said before practice that it was just a scheme fit. It wasn't a scheme fit here. It was a scheme fit there in New England, and he's very versatile. I mean, he couldn't say enough about him. Great communicator, very versatile, high performer, smart. I think he called him great 4 times, he just couldn't say enough. And Van Noy was like, well, I don't want to get into that. That was a different time, blah, blah, blah. Just want to move on. But, obviously he's taken some shots at the Lions, not knowing how to use them. Called it going from the toilet bowl to the Super Bowl. So he's obviously got some frustration still built, within him about being here and not. He thought he was playing okay when they traded him in 2016, right? He didn't say much. He's just very vanilla. What else were you going to get here? In the Lions' den, so to say. And
to Van Noy's credit, he's obviously had a pretty nice career since he left here. So give him credit for obviously it's about scheme, but it's about transitioning yourself as a player too, reshaping yourself as a player too. And look, again, long practice today. Lions got a lot of good work. We'll be out here again tomorrow. Lions and Patriots have 2 more of these joint practices. Wednesday we'll be in pads. Tomorrow we'll be in pads. I'm not exactly sure what they're going to do Wednesday since it's the day before a game, but either way, should be some good work for both teams. That'll do it from out here in Allen Park. For Carlos Monarrez, I'm Dave Birkett, Freak.com.